Hands up if you use LinkedIn. Now keep your hand up if you're satisfied with your outreach and your engagement strategies. Are they returning? Probably not. Guys, LinkedIn is an amazing platform. There's 750 million users on the LinkedIn platform. That's insane. And people are there for a reason. It works. But the reality is, so many of the strategies that people deploy, or the lack of strategy, I should say, is flawed. In this episode, we're talking specifically about outreach campaigns and engagement strategies that will work for you on LinkedIn. It will stand aside from all of the junk that you see come through where people are out there trying to send you these corny connection requests day in, day out. I get it myself, it drives me crazy. So we're gonna try and stand this aside from that so you guys can actually get some benefit and some advantage out of using LinkedIn. This is the third part of the LinkedIn series that we're doing. It's the third and final part, I should also say. Guys, please make sure you go check out the other ones. In the first episode, we went step by step in a video tutorial of how to create your profile. In the second episode, we talk about understanding the value of LinkedIn as a platform, and we talked about some of the really cool tools that we use that you can use now as part of the LinkedIn suite. And in this episode, we're talking about those engagement and outreach strategies, and we even go through a demonstration of Sales Navigator. It's really, really powerful. Guys, I know you're gonna love this. Please watch, like, review, share, give us all your best comments. I'd love to hear them, and I'd also love to hear your experiences with LinkedIn. I know some of you guys have dabbled with it. I'd really love to hear what you think works and what you think doesn't work. It's super valuable for me. Anyway, guys, please enjoy the show. I'm sure you will. I look forward to seeing you inside the community. Make sure you head across to thesiteshould.com to the show notes for this episode or any of this series episodes where you can get access to the resources that have been left behind, which are a blueprint on how to build your profile. Super valuable again. But anyway, guys, that's all from me. Let's jump right in. Today's podcast has been proudly brought to you by Tradie Web Guys. Tradie Web Guys work with tradespeople only on their websites and marketing solutions to help them stand out from their competition. Everything from web design through to SEO, search engine marketing, content creation, you name it, guys. It is a customized solution for trade-based organizations, and it's fantastic. Head across to tradiewebguys.com.au/apply, fill in the form, and let's have a conversation.
Giving tradies and contractors around the globe the tools to run a modern business. You're listening to Toolbox Talks from the Site Shed. Now here's your host, Matt Jones.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to the third and final episode of the series that I'm conducting with my co-host for this series, Jake Bracey from Underdog Agency. Jake, welcome back.
Great to be here, Matt. Thanks again.
So, Jake, we're in the third and final episode here of this series on LinkedIn, and it's been very informative. The first episode, we spoke about creating a LinkedIn profile, and we ran through my profile. For any of you guys that want to go and watch that, you can head across to YouTube or the Facebook group, or even thesiteshed.com, where you can actually see what we're talking about. We're running through a framework which Jake basically has built out on my profile. There's also a link to a framework which you can get hold of. So you can actually take that and you can apply it to building your own profile out. So make sure you head across to thesiteshed.com and get access to that document, because it will help you and hopefully bring full circle what we've spoken about in that episode. The second episode, we were talking about understanding the value of LinkedIn. And so in that episode, we talked a little bit about what type of business would typically benefit better from using LinkedIn, the LinkedIn platform. We spoke a little bit about what type of person or what type of company maybe wouldn't get as much advantage out of it. We talked about some of the cool tools that LinkedIn have in their Sales Navigator platforms and things like that, which is a relatively new feature. We talked about some of the networking opportunities, which was actually really interesting and something I hadn't really considered before. And then, of course, fundamentally what LinkedIn was designed for initially, which was recruitment, and how you can find potential, team members that can help you grow your business. It's all through using LinkedIn. I was surprised to learn that program, that LinkedIn now has 75 million users. That's like mind blowing for me.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great. It's really growing fast.
yeah. I mean, it's insane, and I suppose that's a testament to the value that it delivers. Right? People wouldn't be using it if it didn't work.
That's right. Yeah.
So in this episode, we're going to be talking about some outreach and some engagement strategies. And this, I suppose, is kind of where I guess the rubber's going to meet the road for a lot of people out there that they've created their profile. They've figured out that, yes, LinkedIn, my customers or, the people I want to connect with are on LinkedIn. So now we're going to talk a little bit about some of the strategies that they can deploy to help them get in front of those people. You've been doing some outreach for me on my LinkedIn profile. And as I said, I think back in the first episode there's certainly been a lot of connections, and we've been able to filter a lot of those people into our community to grow the community, so on and so forth. I haven't really refined it yet to be selling services as such, but to be fair, I suppose even though I'm in the trades, inverted commas, my service offering is a lot different to the listeners out there, being that we're a digital agency for tradies, whereas a lot of the tradies out there are trying to sell their services or sell themselves to other companies. Maybe that's builders or strata managers or real estate agents or whatever that might be. So I'd love for you to run through some outreach strategies and some engagement strategies that you think are going to work for our listeners, Jake. I also have experience from my point of view as somebody that has a lot of people wanting to connect with me as to what I personally dislike, and I'd love nothing more to talk about that.
Yeah, sure.
So maybe you can tell me what some good strategies are, and we can bounce back and forth on things that. And at the end of the day, as well, like let it be known what I do and don't like with LinkedIn is completely irrelevant at the end of the day, because like most things, it's what's going to work. Like my point of view on what I don't like about LinkedIn at the end of the day means absolutely bugger all, because if it works, I mean, I don't like a lot of AdWords strategies too, and I don't like a lot of strategies when it comes to Facebook marketing, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's what's going to work, right?
That's it. Yeah, and it's totally understandable. I know where you're coming from when you inbox, you're getting people reaching out from the blue in your inbox with all sorts of random stuff. So I totally understand that frustration. But I would say that the reason why you're probably getting frustrated is because they're not very well targeted and they're trying to overload you with information. They're spamming you basically, and that's going to be annoying for anybody. So we want to try and do our best to avoid that at all costs.
So, I mean, before we get started, I suppose when we're talking about LinkedIn outreach, we're not necessarily talking about where we talk about Google or Facebook outreach. We're kind of looking for potential customers, where with LinkedIn we're kind of trying to target, like we're targeting more relationships, aren't we? We're targeting connections that can potentially open doors of opportunity with business.
Yeah, that's right. So once you get somebody's connection, you're able then to basically start a relationship with them. So you can't just go and message hundreds of people just as you want to. You actually need to send a connection request first. And in that connection request, you can include a message, which I highly recommend. And you just want to keep it short and sweet and just very low key, very conversational. You're not trying to sell anything. You're not even actually talking about what you do. You're just saying, hey there, I just saw that you're in my area. We're both in this trade. We're both in construction. It'd be great to connect. And just keep it very short and sweet.
So is it important when you are reaching out to connect that is there some sort of strategy behind the outreach, or is it a matter of just connecting for the sake of connecting because you never know where it's going to end up, or could it be both?
It's both. So everyone has their own personal networks, and just by connecting with people, you're going to have more reach. So
right.
You might have a specific reason that you're connecting with specific people, which which can be done. But if you're, just for more local guys, it's not going to hurt to be connected to more people in your area.
Well, actually, that's interesting. So are you saying, so if we connect, then that makes me more visible to your connections?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I mean, it also opens up it allows us to then be able to message each other as much as we want to. So there's no restrictions there anymore. And it also, like when you post things, it'll come up in my newsfeed. We become second degree connections, which means that their network now becomes your third degree connection. So it brings it all a step closer.
Okay. So I know in the past, and well, I won't say in the past, like regularly, I get people trying to connect with me, and it's like a real salesy kind of approach. Oh, I'm a business coach and I can help you improve your conversions and all this absolute horse shit. Like it's
yeah, that's right.
It just drives me crazy, and I genuinely never give them the time of the time of day. It's probably like a bot that's been sent out, spam to like 100 people, whatever.
Yeah, so that's why I recommend to say in that first initial connection message, nothing to do with sales or anything. It's really just, hey, this is why I'm reaching out, like because we're in the same area or we're in the same industry, just to touch on something that is relevant to each other and that's it. Just leave it at that. You're not trying to sell the farm straight away.
Yeah, I mean, I've just found that's been like a real deterrent for me over the years with LinkedIn. Like it's just always people trying to sell their stuff, or they're wanting to, come on the show, and they've got a product I've got a product that works with the trades. You should let me come on the podcast, kind of thing. And it's just the wrong approach. Like I think people's bullshit radars are up too much these days.
Yeah, sure. And you are part of the 80% of people who feel the same way, because when I run campaigns, the average connection rate is around 20%. But in saying that, like, I'm also not being salesy or spammy off the bot either, so off the start either. So I do understand that frustration. Yeah.
So in terms of like, say, I mean, outreach is a strategy and engagement is a strategy, right? So I know, like if we're talking engagement, and like I don't post a lot of content to LinkedIn. Like I might put a weekly post up for my podcast that's out, whatever. But I must say, like, I don't really find I get a huge amount of, likes, shares, comments, as opposed to, a Facebook post that could go up and we can get loads and loads. Respectful of the fact that it is different. It's a different audience. And to be fair, it's also a different post. Like as I was saying, I think back in the first episode, if I'm promoting my podcast to Facebook and I'm promoting it to LinkedIn, I will have different copy that I've written for both of them, because I just know if I put a Facebook post onto LinkedIn with emojis and all this kind of stuff, like it just doesn't get a look in.
Yeah, they have their own sort of the style of posting is going to be different, that's for sure. And just like we've spoken a lot about, LinkedIn is a professional platform, so yeah, keep those emojis to limit those emojis.
I do find video does work quite well for, and I mean, this is no surprise. I still do find that video and images do draw better engagement.
Yeah, sure. And so visual, it's going to take up more space on the newsfeed as well. So that's always something. And just to keep in mind too, that whenever somebody likes or shares that article or that piece of content, it will then go through their entire network as well. So the more space you can take up and the more engagement you can get, obviously it's going to be better for you. So
it's kind of useful, well, from my experience anyway, when I get guests on the show like yourselves, to encourage them to share a LinkedIn post. I mean, and they will anyway, because it's promoting them, but like that's quite useful. So I mean, trying to put that in relay that back to like some of our listeners or viewers out there who may not be interviewing people as such, but maybe they've done projects for a business and they create a nice post on it. I think that would certainly be something that you could ask them to share on their own LinkedIn network.
Yeah, actually, those posts where I see that quite a lot actually, where someone's completed a job and it's all finished and they've taken some nice photos. That always goes down well. It just shows that you're a business putting yourself out there, and you can see the types of jobs and the quality of work and all that kind of stuff. So that definitely helps. So
what about things like business, what do they call them? Company pages on LinkedIn. This is probably something we should have spoken a little bit more about back in the first episode, but what's the deal with these business company pages?
Yeah, so these are separate to your personal profile. This is a page where you can list yourself as a business and you can add your employees in there. It'll show talks about more the scope of work you do and all that kind of thing. And LinkedIn has graphs and information on there to dealing with the growth of your business and stuff like that. So it certainly doesn't take long to set it up, and it certainly doesn't hurt to have it there. And it allows you then also, it'll be shown on your personal profile as well, and it'll be all linked together. So
okay.
Yeah.
So it's just a way that you can kind of tag businesses you're working in or whatever. Like if you're writing a post, you can link to another page or a company profile.
Yep, that's right, for sure.
Okay. So in terms of actual outreach, so we've spoken about the initial message. So maybe we could go back a step further and we could talk about how do we find the people that we send the initial message to?
Yeah, sure. So if you like, I can pull up Sales Navigator on the screen and just do a very quick basic search that will outline what's possible and how easy it is.
Yeah, cool. And we can just talk people through it as while we do it.
Yep. On here, this is Sales Navigator, which you can upgrade to for free for the first month. And after the first month, it's about $100 a month. Over here, you go to search for leads, which is obviously this is a visual thing, but I'll try to talk through it as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
This then brings up a filtering page that you're able to search by geography, industry, names, business names, keywords, all sorts of stuff. It's actually a super powerful tool. So just as an example, we could have a quick look in Sydney. You can also search by postcode. So that's also can be very relevant for people if they're just working locally. Mm-hmm. We can pull up under industry, we can pull up construction. So as you can see, there's 70,000 profiles that come up in Sydney alone. So
is that people that have construction as a skill?
It's people who have described themselves as being in the construction industry.
Right. So it's like a keyword within their profile somewhere.
It's to do with when you first set up your profile.
Okay.
So this is also something important too. LinkedIn is not a strict database. So just because 70,000 have come up under the construction tab here alone, if you take this off and then start searching for keywords, there's actually a lot more available.
Right.
So it's not like a strict, simple database. It depends on how people have actually described themselves.
Gotcha.
So it is actually, there'll be more than 70,000. So it's actually a really good resource if you're looking for people.
Yep. And actually, I'm sure you're going to get to this when we find the people, like what sort of information we get.
Yep.
I'm just curious about what sort of information you get on that person.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So just as an example, let's look up plumbers.
Yep.
So just under that, there's over 1,000 plumbers have shown up. you can either do it with the title, or you can take that title off and you can go up to the keywords and type in plumber in the keywords.
Right.
And that shows up a lot more, but it's going to be a little bit less specific.
Okay.
So now it's come up with this list. You're able to scroll through this list and you can see that it shows your area, how long you've been in this role. So when you fill out your profile, let's say you've been a plumber for 6 years, this will actually show up here as well. Mm-hmm. It just gives you that, and your tagline that we spoke about earlier.
Yeah, gotcha. Oh, that's why it's important to have the tagline there.
Because the tagline shows up everywhere, even on when you send connection requests out, your tagline's everywhere.
Gotcha.
And this is where now you can, before you're connected, it'll only show you the basic profile. So you actually now need to send a connection request to this person if you want to know them.
Right.
And to do that, you click on connect and it'll say include a personal message, which you definitely want to do, and just say, yeah, hey, I'm Jeff. I'm looking for, we're in the same area.
Yeah.
Both in construction, would be great to connect.
Cool.
That's just the first basic step. And from there, depending on, once they do connect, you can then now start to message them, check out their profile properly, and start building a relationship.
Lovely.
So.
And with the Sales Navigator tool, you can do 100 of these a day, is it?
So you can send out 100 connection requests per day. That's right.
Wow.
You don't want to push it any further than that. Especially in the beginning, you want to start off slowly as well. So you don't want to start doing 100 a day straight away, but if it's just slowly build it up. So start with 20, then maybe 40, and just build it up slowly. But
yeah.
As you can see, you can literally reach out and connect with every single plumber in Sydney over time.
And so I noticed it says get email. So does that actually give you access to their email?
This is a paid. This requires credits, so you've got to buy credits off LinkedIn to do this.
Right.
And that's without being connected. Once you're connected, you can see all their info.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So they've got to restrict it somehow, like they can't just have an open book for everybody to go through and scrape data and, all that stuff. So
okay.
It requires either a connection or a paid credit.
Okay. So once you're connected to someone, you can view all of their information.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
So once you've made the connection, you're free then to, start talking to them. If you want to, for whatever reason, you want to connect with them, then you can start to open up more. But in that first connection request message, just keep it really simple and conversational.
So could we maybe go back
very important, yeah.
Could we go back and do one that might be a little bit more relevant to the listeners? So
sure.
not many of them will be looking for plumbers if they are plumbers or builders or whatever, but maybe like property managers or real estate agents or strata managers.
So we'll go back into the tool. We'll go do it in Sydney again.
Yep.
Title. So there's a lot of different titles that show up under property managers.
Mm-hmm.
With here, you can now start to look at, there's another filter here, which I use all the time. It's seniority level. So
right.
This allows you to now talk to, say, the owner or basically the decision maker. If you just want to talk to only decision makers, you can use this filter here.
Yeah.
So we'll keep it to, say, director and above, so that you're not wasting your time reaching out to entry level people who are just going to pass you along anyway.
The gatekeepers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow.
So just on a very, very quick search, came up with 447 results for property managers in Sydney. If you wanted to, you could slowly work your way through this list and
filter it further down if you need to.
If you needed to, yeah. There's other filters like company size and things like that.
Yeah.
But this is a very powerful way to put yourself and your services in front of them, and it's actually a direct connection. So you actually really are. You're not putting in an ad in front of them. You're actually connecting to them and talking to them. So
yeah,
it's a lot more powerful.
Yeah, interesting. Well, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Like to be able to access so many. I mean, back in the day they talked about the 6 degrees of separation, and I feel like now it's down to 2 or 3.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's right. And LinkedIn does show your shared connections too, as you can see here. That this guy's got 12 shared connections. So that's through my own personal network because this is on my profile. So that's another thing to remember, that if you're scrolling through people, you can see they have shared connections, and you can reach out and say, oh, hey, I see we both know this person. We're both in this industry. It'd be great to connect, and it improves your connection rates.
Yeah, I must admit, I do get quite a lot of those requests as well. And I mean, there's thousands. I don't know how many connections I've got, but there's a lot. And people say, oh, so-and-so, what a small world. And I'm like, I have no idea who that is or you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, that's cool. But I guess depending on how specific you're trying to be here, it is a way that works.
Totally.
Obviously, people do take advantage of it in the way that you just said, but if you're actually doing it authentically, it does work really well.
Yeah, I think in my experience with the outreach, the things that work best are when you can just where you can offer people something of value that's useful to them and relevant to them, without trying to just obviously sell them shit,
Definitely, yeah. And if you're able to offer value in your first message, once people connect with you, if you're able to offer value in the next message with refraining from selling yourself at all, by the time you do get down the line a little bit, they're going to respond a lot better to you because you've shown that you're not just trying to marry them in business straight away.
Yeah, no, it's great. All right, is there anything else there you wanted to show us?
No, that's just a quick overview. I think that it's sort of it's quite self-explanatory. Once you start playing around the tool, you'll be able to see quite quickly how that's quite very easy to use. And it is free for the first month, so there's you can get a lot done in that first month, especially for a smaller local business. Really take advantage of that.
Yeah, interesting. So I mean, this has been great. So I think we're pretty much wrapped that up. But
sure.
Takeaways, I suppose, from outreach and engagement is from an engagement perspective, it's not Facebook, so you will get a different level of engagement, and it is a slightly different messaging and language that you'll need to use in order to get that engagement. And that's certainly been my experience with posting content on LinkedIn. I've also found as well that comments tend to fuel comments with LinkedIn, and I don't know if that's an experience that you've had, but if I've made comments on a post, people will tend to want to make a bit of more of a conversation out of it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that it's engagement, and a lot of people have that strategy of constantly commenting on people's articles and things, so that they are more familiar to them. They're trying to build relationships.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, gotcha. And from an outreach perspective, you've just shown us there that it's a really great tool for finding targeted, people within a certain vertical, location, industry, whatever. So, I think that's quite useful to anyone really. So if you didn't get a chance, if you just listened to that and you didn't get a chance to view it, then definitely go head across to thesocial.com and find this episode and watch it, because you'll see it's quite comprehensive, some of these tools, and they're not an expensive tool. I mean, it's for $100 a month, and well, it depends on what you call expensive, I suppose, but when you look at the value proposition that can potentially come from connections, I think you'll probably find that it's not an overly expensive tool. Jake, thanks for your time. This has been great. This basically brings to an end this series. Is there anything that you wanted to add in closing?
No, that was great. Yeah, I think that was quite a good sort of introduction and just a good overview. So obviously, I'm more than happy to help anybody if they have any further questions. You can reach out anytime. More than happy.
So, guys, Jake's business, Underdog Agency, they'll do the connecting for you and they'll manage that profile. So he's been doing that for me, and it's been really good. To be honest, it's one less thing that I have to worry about. So if you're in that boat like me, then definitely reach out to Jake at underdogagency.com.au or the website there, which is underdogagency.com.au, or you can jump into LinkedIn and you can connect to him through me. I'll post links to Jake's profile as well there, so you can get to him through the show notes. Likewise, via the show notes, you'll be able to get access to the blueprint that Jake's going to leave behind to building your profile. So make sure that you get that, and make sure that you go back and listen to episode 1 and follow along and fill your profile out so that it's done the right way. Jake, thank you very much for your time. This has been great.
No worries.
Guys, if you have any comments or questions, or if you're not sure about anything that we spoke about, by all means, wherever you see this come through, wherever you watch it or view it or consume it or listen to it, leave some comments and I'll get Jake back on the show to answer them if we need to. He's also in the Facebook community, guys. So if you've got any questions, you can head across to the group there, and you can ask the questions when the podcast comes out in the comments there, and we can create a thread and Jake will be in there to answer those as well.
Sounds
I think
great.
that's all.
Yeah, thanks again, Matt. That was really interesting, and really appreciate coming on your show.
All right, mate. Thanks for your input. And that there is a wrap. Thank you for listening to another episode of Toolbox Talks. If you're liking what you hear, then you can head across to the siteshed.com, where you can join our community by signing up to our Toolbox Talks. You'll get sent a weekly notification, which is basically a highlight of everything that we've spoken about during that week, along with any other industry news that may be relevant or specific to the trades. If you're enjoying the show, you can head across to iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud, where you can leave us a review. That would be fantastic, and all the reviews get read out in the show. Likewise, if you have any friends or colleagues that you think would benefit from the show and the episodes that we create, then please go ahead and share it with them.